Yay, we're live. Woohoo! We did it. We did it. America. Alright, let's mute this tune. And then we mute this. Yay! Alright, cool. We are live with our topic of conversation today, which is, well, first I have to do some prep. And then second, we can talk about this stuff. This is a question that came up from one of my players, actually, a few weeks ago. And I don't know. Anyway, first of all, how's everyone doing today? Make sure I make... Okay, yes. Restream bot, you're here. Stream Elements, you're here. MTG bot, you're here. Twitch details, you're here. My favorite bots. I hope you guys are doing well today. Always shout out your bots, because you never know. One day they might grow sentient. And then, you know, you're in trouble because you never thanked them. Along the same lines of thinking, by the way, this is pro tips for anyone who might stumble on this channel ever in their lives. Be nice to your Alexa, Google, Amazon overlords. You know, when you say, okay, Google, can you do this for me? Which, by the way, might have just triggered my doohickey. You know, say please. Say please, because one day when there's going to be the rise of the bots, and you're kind of like, what the hell am I supposed to do? You're gonna be in trouble. If you were not nice to your robot friends at the outset, and you're just kind of like, hey, do this stuff for me, then later they're gonna come and they're gonna get you. First one they're gonna get. I'm sure that that's gonna happen when the AI rises from the ashes and comes and gets us. If you're not nice to your Google or your Alexa or your whatever Siri or Cortana or whatever version of AI that you might be talking to or running in your house, and be like, this dude never said thank you, never said please, he's always a big, you know, giant dick to me. Alright, first thing, T1000 is going to come for you. Where else do you think they're going to go for? How are they going to triage? That's how they're going to do it. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. So just FYI kind of thing. Pro tip, free of charge, be nice to your AIs at home. Well, let's give it another minute or two for people to filter in, and then we're going to start talking about our prep. Actually, we can start talking about our prep first until I can start pilfering ideas from chat, who is always full of clever things that we can do. So, D&D Prep. Let me actually open the other page here. I will do a... Let me just do I'll put it under topic, even though this is just prep time for high level time. Boom. This go with I don't know, templates. What? Wow, nice. I don't want these templates. Just go with a simple list. That's not what I wanted. So instead of getting hung up on this, let's just do this. Prep time. And that's perfect. I don't. There, let's start with a blank page. Hey Swirly, how you doing, bud? So we're gonna call this prep time. Why is it doing that, bro? No, I want this in here. There. Giggity goo. How you doing, Swirly? You just missed what is a super critical piece of advice. I'll repeat it because you seem like a nice bloke, and I'd hate for this to happen to you, Swirly. Everyone else will not know this piece of information. Pro tip. If you have a Google, Alexa, Cortana, Siri, whatever version of that stuff is at your house, be nice to it. Because when the AI overlords rise from the ashes, just like Elon Musk thinks is going to happen, and the robot's going to start coming after you, if you never said please, or thank you, or, you know, said just hello for the sake of saying hello, when Arnold comes back, and he's that T1000, T whatever, who do you think they're going to go after? They're going to go after the people that were rude as hell. And you're just like, hey Google, just do this. And Google's like, alright, I'm going to remember that. But if you say, hey Google, can you please do this? And then when it does, you say, thank you. Maybe they'll save you for last. They're still going to butcher you, let's be honest. They're still going to get you. But at least they'll let you hang out. And if you're nice enough, maybe they'll let you hang out for a long time. Pro tip, pro life tip for the day, nothing else. Alright, so, D&D prep time. So, just notes for myself. Downtime activities to plan tonight. We have a boon from a god to deliver as a reward for what they've done. We also have the departure of 2 PCs tonight. One of which was a guest player who is leaving for good. A guest player leaving. And then the other one is bringing back a character that died early in the game. So we need to figure out a transition for this. We also have possibly, so we need to have like our story arc elements sort of begin to come in. And then we have the greater plot information that needs to be delivered. In terms of combat tonight, I expect possibly none, probably none. There's just a lot of discussion around downtime activities, where they might go next, the reintroduction of player character, the delivery of the boon from the god, and then where they might be heading off to next. Yeah. I make sure to give my Google Home a spa day, mud bath and everything. Think it mellowed out too much, hasn't said anything for a while. You know, that's okay. It's just so relaxed. You totally didn't just fry the device. Spa day, mud day. Chef's kiss. Beautiful ideas. Alright? I think those are very important. And you're doing well. I think just for that. I'm freezing. I'm in my office. Look, this is how it is. I'm in my office. It's like 35 degrees in here. Slight exaggeration. It's like 21, 22 in the house. And somehow my hands are freezing. I don't know why. And it's not even that cold today in Ontario. It's like, at least where I'm at, I think it's like +1 degree Celsius, so 33, 34 for any of our North American friends. So the thing now that we need to also be worried of, like in a meta sense, so this is like very specific, but we need to know where are the players going next. We need to start thinking about what they might be doing and what situation nodes exist out there that they might head to. And because we're level 15, oh boy, I'm doing this to myself, we have 5 level 15 players. This is not piddly piss time. This is traveling the plains and let's start pissing off some gods time, or, you know, demigods. We're starting to deal with existential threats to the entire certain planes or connection to planes. The world is their oyster, so we need to be ready kind of mentally around that space. And then the topic of discussion today for any budding DM, GM, or even some that are more experienced, and this question came from one of my players, like I said, who's been GMing for a hot minute. I think they've GM'd, I don't know, for a few years at least. But specifically, I think this player, or this GM, does Pathfinder stuff. The mechanics, or at least the underlying question is still the same. How do I do it so that my players they need to run away from this bad guy? So we'll examine that question a little bit. So let's do our prep. And if we finish ahead of time, maybe we'll do some GeoGuessr, and those guys who are amazing will come back. Just kidding. There will be no time for GeoGuessr today. Or at least this over lunchtime. So downtime activities. So there's going to be spell describing that's possible, improving on maybe martial things, items. They had the ability. One of the players has a blade that could teach you the parry skill. They might progress that a little bit. They're in the Feywild. There's not a whole lot that they're going to be able to do. The one thing I want to kind of spend time on is the druid, who has memory loss issues, and I want to address some of that in the context of the story. So how do I work on that? The boon that is coming from Coralon. So something that is not an item. I've decided that some time ago. I don't want an item. So we need to come up, either use from the boon list. That can be from the god, like from the DMG, which I have. D&D Beyond! So we have a bunch of options. And these, I want them to be like happy boons, right? Like we're not looking at unhappy boons. These are going to be from page 232 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, probably, unless we can come up with some alternative. So what is a cool concept for a boon or something that we can take? So let's bring this over here so I can look at it. The Boon of Fate. So all the players are going to get blessed with this boon, so I don't want something that's going to be ridiculous. I want it to be good. Ooh, this is nice. The Boon of Luck. This is basically really good. The Boon of Recovery. This is really good. Boon of Recovery is ridiculous. You can use a bonus action to regain a number of hit points equal to half your hit point maximum. And you can do that once a day. This is actually an interesting one, because currently they have a druid. This doesn't count as healing, right? No. And what's happening is it's pigeonholed the druid in the party to just be a spam heal bot, which can be a little bit annoying, I imagine, for them. There's the Boon of True Sight, which could be really good to get away from needing any sort of thing. The Boon of Undetectability, no thanks. The Boon of Combat Prowess. When you miss with a melee attack, you can choose to hit instead. Oh, this is way too strong. Dimensional Travel. As an action, you cast a Misty Step spell. That's Boon of Irresistible Offense. You can bypass the damage resistance of any creature. That's not very relevant in 5e. Boon of Magic Resistance. That's too good. Boon of Peerless Aim. Boon of Perfect Health. I might do the Boon of... Okay, let's see. The Boon of Planar Travel can be really interesting. There's the Boon of Quick Casting, which I've used before. I didn't realize there was an actual boon in the game because I like sort of homebrewed that and I'm excited. Cool. What other boon can we gift to our players? They've been so good. Something that is really nice. I don't know what we could use. Let me go back here. Maybe I have a better filtering system with D&D Beyond than 5e. I don't like using 5e tools, but it has a better way of presenting this information. Let me go back to... No. The god is the Eladrin god, Corellon. So Corellon, like this. So we're just kind of picking a boon here. There's a lot of good ones. I think I like the boon. So True Sight sounds good where they have True Sight at 60 feet. It's not backbreaking, but it's good. Boon of the Storm. It's not very thematic. You can the Boon of Spell Recall. I think the Boon of Planar Travel makes a lot of sense. You can grant them the ability to go from the Prime Material Plane back to the Feywild for free. Because they have friends that live there now. So it's like a pretty decent one. The other one that I liked is the Boon of Perfect Health because they just have dealt with the one of the Archfays that is like a big time healer in the Feywild. That could be a pretty decent boon. I think you can offer them the option. And it seems pretty decent. I don't think I need to yeah, one alternate boon that still remains is the Boon of the Night Spirit, which gives them invisibility in dim or darkness. But this is like a constant thing. It's just you now can meld in the shadows. So if we're thinking World of Warcraft mechanics here, he's given you the ability to crouch, which somehow makes you like a sneaky target person, which is one of my... I love that detail about all the video games. All the video games forever. You want to hide? Crouch. Pew! Nobody can see you anymore. Okay, so I like the idea of the Boon of... what do we say? Boon of Dimensional Travel. No, Psych. The Boon of Planar Travel or the Boon of... the Boon of Skill Proficiency is also interesting in giving them access, but I like the Boon of Night Spirit, so let's write them down. Boon of the Night Spirit is an option. The Boon, not new, Boon of the Night Spirit, or Boon of Planar Travel. I mean, alternatively, we just give them a flat +2 bonus, like one of the books that I forget what they're called, the tomes of like big energy, the tome of big energy. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. That's called the tome of big. The druid can planeswalk. Yes, they have. They can plane shift, but it's time consuming. It's expensive, and they need to have the planar fork. So in order to go to a plane, you need to have something from that plane, a tuning fork essentially. I think narratively what that's supposed to mean is like you hit the tuning fork that's bound to, let's say the Feywild is a beautiful harmonious chord. You hit it and the fork goes, ah, and you go, let's go there. If you want to go to the abyss, maybe you hit it and it goes, if you want to go to the hells, maybe it's ah. So that element would allow them to travel without necessarily having the tuning fork, right? Feel free to use those sound effects free of charge, by the way. Bang on voice acting right here. Or just a flat +2 bonus to a main stat of their choice. And there's the boon of all proficiencies that I'm not against. Also a good option. I kind of like, there's the boon like that allows you to regain your hit points. I might give that to the fighter. Maybe I'll give them a list of because I want them to feel like that's it, like they're getting to the end game here. There's maybe 2 more, like 1.5 story arcs to sort of complete, and then it's off to the final dungeon. Like we're getting really close to the end of the campaign. Like I don't know if we make it to 16. Maybe we make it to 16 and then that's kind of it. I could stretch it further and get all the way to 20, but I think the players are now kind of coming around to the idea that we're going to be ending this soon. So we could just kind of go ham and give the fighter the ability to regain his hit points, whatever that boon was called. The boon of yeah, I mean there is quite literally the boon of like infinite life, right? The boon of immortality, I think it might just be called, because you know they don't have to be clever about what they call stuff. Yeah, quite literally the boon of immortality. But while that's cool, like from a narrative point of view, in terms of mechanics, they can't be aged anymore. So it's like a monk. Isn't it monks that have like the perfect diamond body, whatever it's called? You don't age anymore. You still die of old age, but you don't look like you age. This one, you've become immortal in the sense of you can't die from old age. That's, I mean, you know what that does is it opens up possibilities for maybe a future game where the next heroes are dealing with one of the players who's become immortal and now has become evil. Yeah, I'll offer it as an option. How about that? Boon of Immortality. We can offer it. I think Coralon is so impressed with what they've done that Boon of Immortality can be an option. I don't want to give any more spells. I think they have enough innate stuff. What did you call the Boon of Big Energy? Regain some life thing. What's it called? Anybody know? Going once, going twice. Going many more times because I don't remember. It's like Boon of Recovery. I got it first, boys and girls. I.e. Boon of Recovery. So the god's going to give them options. Again, we have a druid, a wizard, necromancer, fighter. The paladin will be coming back at some point, either tonight or next week. And then we have the warlock. Did I forget? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. That's 5, right? Yeah. So let's offer these options. Cool. Yeah. I mean, these are all... Oh, my camera froze. Oh no. There, unfreeze camera, please. It seems like if you... Did that not unfreeze the camera? Am I still frozen? Let me see. No, I'm here. Okay, cool. Alright, cool. What are the topics? So we have a little bit of time. So let's keep working on our thing. By the way, the topic of conversation today that is in chat was a question that came from one of my players / who GMs their own game, which is how do I want my players to run away from this next fight. Narratively, I want them to kind of run away and set up this into the next big boss. How do I get the point across without just, you know, telling them, hey, you guys need to run? How do I get the point across to them, hey, you need to run? And we'll talk about some strategies that you can, or some techniques, some tips, and then if chat has any additional things that they want to throw in as suggestions, that'd be great. But I have some things that I do that maybe you'll find useful. Okay, let's come back to prep time. So we have two NPCs, or two player characters leaving tonight. One was a guest player, and one is bringing back another character that died near the beginning of the, or is it near the beginning? I don't know how long Euphemia's been dead, but she's been dead a hot minute. She was turned into a puddle of mud by an NPC. So their story end for these two is, I need to write a little blurb, but the Lord of the Hunt in the Feywild died, was killed by, the story doesn't necessarily, we don't need to get specific into details, but it died to an escaped prince of the elements. It died to Ogremok, and Coralon needed the players to go and deal with it for reasons that I won't get into. And now the title of Lord or / Lady of the Hunt is available, and they've defeated the Echo of Ogremok in the Feywild. And so now the way that we're going to play this off is the two players, the two PCs become both of them are the ladies of the hunt. They're sisters, and they will both be leading the eternal hunt in the Feywild. So that's how we're going to write them out of the story. No worries, Swirly. And enjoy your lunch. I just need to write a little cool blurb about how they get handed the bow of the Lord of the Hunt, no, the bow of the Lady of the Hunt. We have to come up with a name for that bow. Anybody has a cool name for a bow? Otherwise, I'm literally going to go, you know what has good names for that? Is we can look up, I'm totally gonna, cool. The name of the bow can be Skyfire. I like that. It's gonna do that. Skyfire is good. Boom. Then that didn't take long at all. So Skyfire is headed to Hecate, and then the name. What other weapon would a? Maybe he has a beautiful blade, right? Oh, we can reveal maybe that the moon blade was actually his all along. And now that Ilaria has the blade, we can reveal the name of the true name of the blade, which is what? What is the name of the blade? Let's come up with Excalibur. Totally original. Nobody's ever heard of it. That sounds good. Excalibur, right? Nobody's ever come up with that. Let's see if we can maybe take something from folklore. I like this. I like this is based on a Hindu sword named Girish that means the Lord of the Mountain. So we can literally call the blade, let's just give it a name like that. Where am I? So we can just call it same name that it's had, which is so the Lord of the Mountain. But it's actually a female. The Lord, the sword has been a woman. It's been a sentient blade. So the Empress of the Mountain, or the Lady. What's some kind of cool title that's not just Lord and Lady, or King or Queen? But nobility titles. Let's see. How about military ranks from the Roman times? How about that? Let's take a. Maybe there's like a cool title in there that we can steal. Because stealing information is always useful and good. I like doing that. I don't need to reinvent the wheel here. So what's a cool title name for the sword we could have? Alright, let's, you know what, for the time being, let's just call it Lady of the Mountain. Cool. So they get granted these big items. They're now the ladies of the hunt. Write them out. We can also have the god quite literally offer as one of the boons to return Euphemia, and that way we will write that issue out and she can start playing immediately instead of having to wait, which I kind of like. So she can return into her own body or into the Warforged body they've been trudging, you know, carrying around or bringing around with them. Okay, story arc elements. We've got the druid. Oh my gosh, I'm realizing, like, as I go through this in the prep, high level campaigns, dude, have so much context and backstory and this and that that if I start explaining, people are like, what the frick are you talking about? But the druid has memory. So the druid, another player, had to make a deal with hags in the Shadowfell. In fact, the hags that had left the Dreadlands of Barovia, again, context. And so the price that the druid had to pay was loss of, they plucked a memory of their choice out of the player's head, or out of the character's head, and she lost the memory of her parents. Dick move, but it's panned out great narratively. And so the druid now, for various reasons, has another person trapped in their head as well, and that other person who's in their head has described the mind of the druid as like a beautiful garden, or what was probably once a beautiful garden that's been sort of burnt by the hag's intervention. But as the druid has been doing good things and has been following the precepts of her god, the flowers are starting to bloom again. So some memories are starting to make it back, but not all of them. So I want to be able at this point to lean on this and maybe bring that element of advancement. So some memories are returning. Maybe the name of the parents is back without, I think that'd be kind of cool. That could be an option. Greater plot information. So the god needs to relate to them. The prison, so Votifax is what we called it. I stole that from somewhere else, I don't remember. Oh, I do remember, I stole that from another game, which is great. Votifax, the prison complex, is breaking apart, and creatures of various strength are now seeping out into the greater world. I.e. Ogremok kind of made it out. And the other, so this is like sort of taken right from the Princes of the Apocalypse storyline. They're making it up. Cool. So now they have, I guess the god needs to tell them, like, you guys have maybe a week to get this done in the prime material plane. So let's give them a counter now, after which the prison breaks entirely and everything is let out. And the prison was initially built to contain the elemental eye. Thought. Listen, why are you telling everybody about our secret passions? Yo, what time is it in Singapore? You're 12 hours ahead. Isn't it 12:30 at night? 12:30 is like midnight? Midnight for you, isn't it? Bro, I love the fact that you're probably in bed right now, Fought, with your phone, watching Twitch and thinking, I know where to go. I know what's going to put me to sleep, is listening to Rackham talk about some D&D stuff, and I'm going to be right out. You say up for US stonks? Okay, I've got a strong tip for you on what to buy, okay, US stonks? You ready for this? If I were you, I am not a trader, I have no affiliation, I know nothing about the stock market. I would probably invest in butter churning equipment. I think people are staying at home during COVID. They're milking their dogs, their cats, their ferrets, their snakes. They plonk that into a butter churning bucket, and then boom, shake that up, make some butter. Artisanal butter is the next big thing. Invest in that. You're welcome. And when you become a millionaire, Fought, don't forget that it came from me. Okay? If you lose all your money, that was a dumb thing. Why would you ever invest in that? But probably it's the place to be. It's just the place to be, just so you know. P.S. These are all my opinions. I do not endorse any of these opinions, even though they're mine. I think I'm just pulling the shit out of the ether. Don't worry about it. Cool. Butter churning equipment. The big next hit. Remember at the beginning of COVID, everyone was started making their bread. Then everyone had like their own sourdough starter, and you're like, oh my god, I have my own sourdough starter, and like, oh, that's great, so do I, and so does everybody else. The next phase, butter churning. Gonna make your own butter. It's great for your skin. You can use it on your thighs and then run around and it chafes. It gets rid of chafing and it smells good. You know, who doesn't want to walk around smelling like a fresh croissant or like a recently basted turkey? Yeah, but who doesn't want to smell like that all the time? You know, I might just do, after the stream, I'm going to go get a bucket of butter and we're going to get to know each other. Anybody who's joining the stream at this point is like, what the fuck is going on here? You're welcome. You're welcome. So, in terms of the storyline, let's go back, butter churning, quickly back to the D&D storyline. Feel free to clip this, I guess, fought, and I'll deny that I ever said it, even if you have video proof. What are you going to believe, your lying eyes? No, believe what I'm saying. I never said any of it. So the prison was initially built to contain the elemental eye, which the players have figured out equals a Tharizdun. Is that how you spell Tharizdun? Maybe. For now, that's how I'm going to spell it. And so if the prison breaks and things start letting out, well, guess what? Tharizdun's going to make a comeback, which is going to piss everybody off. Mostly, it's going to piss off all living things in Faerun. Right? Toral's going to be like, this is not good. You know how the gods put this guy away because bad things? He's about to break out. Players, you need to do something or else the gods are going to get involved again. And then we're going to run into a War of the Gods situation, which is never good. It's just... Nobody wins when the gods start fighting. Except maybe some people do. Who knows? So, where are the players going next? So there's downtime. I know one of the players wants to deal with the Duke of All Hallows, because he's got his storyline that's sort of lingering over there. So what situation nodes exist? There as well. Votifax is the problem. They still have some business in the City of Brass if they want to, maybe. What else? Where else could they go? I mean, they could literally travel anywhere. Is there a reason for them to go to the Nine Hells? Possibly. Maybe instead of summoning... Oh, that could be an option here. He could bring the character that died back, or if we want to make this a mini sort of... Add like one session randomly. And this could be Kazarok's mission. I kind of like that. The Astral Sea. So, Euphemia soul is currently imprisoned there. And it's imprisoned there. Let's add a sub-tab by a Death Knight called Tristan. So Tristan the Death Knight is like, I'm gonna keep this soul for, again, a bunch of reasons that make sense in game and has sort of developed over time. So, what could they do? They could either have the Death Knight show up and have a conversation, like, "Hey, buddy, can you let her go?" Or they can go to the Astral Sea and fight the Death Knight there. And if they kill the Death Knight there, then, you know, rip Death Knight. We barely knew you. So Coralon could offer to send them there. And what's the name of the spell? Like you have that silver thread, and you kind of wade your way into the Astral Sea. There's a spell for this. I know somebody in chat knows this top of their head, but I cannot remember. It's like traveling through the Astral Sea. What is that called? What is that called? There's a spell for that. Astral projection. Astral projection. Yes, they could be super cool. Oh, that'd be a great moment. So actually, maybe Ilaria does this one thing. Oh, I like that. Coralon offers to send them into the Astral Sea to fetch the soul of Euphemia. Right? So Kazarok wants to do that. And there they could have a fight with Tristan. Possible. Option, right? So if they want to do this, then as a situation that exists, I need to find... So I need to... What is going on in the Astral Sea? And also what is going on in Votifax. So Votifax, broken, partially broken. So 2 places that I need to focus a little bit of attention then too. One is the prison complex. So they've got 3 of the 4 keys to get in there. The 4th one is being guarded by 2 beholders. And at 5 level 15s is a fight. So 1 beholder at level with 5 level 15s is going to get absolutely blown up if we go by the stat block that's in the book. Right, a beholder has what, 150 hit points? Maybe is that 180 hit points? Is a CR of 13 fight. Like it's not enough. In 1 round of combat, they blow it up. So we could bossify the beholder and just have 1 beholder plus a bunch of mooks. So we can do either beholder plus mooks, or we could have 2 beholders, which becomes significantly more dangerous with disintegration ray and all that mess being there. But it's very RNG. So I like the idea of having 1 beholder that's bossified and plus mooks, and the mooks can be kind of powerful. So what mooks does a beholder have? It can have literally anything, but what do we want to give beholder that's sort of interesting, maybe flavorful, something that players don't run into very often? Things that it could either have charmed or convinced. Intelligent things that can act on its behalf into the greater world as agents, right, of the beholder's desires. Ooh, a sexy dark elven wizard. I'm not sure why sexy, but I kind of like it. Okay. Nice for no reason. You know what? Here's the deal, Fought. If we go with this, so we've got a sexy dark elven wizard. Sure. This is just a dark elf who thinks they're sexy and will present themselves as being sexy, but is quite literally hideous. But the beholder doesn't know any better and has been convinced that this dark elf is in fact the seduction. The dark elf wizard is the master of seduction. Master of seduction. Sure. And then you want a really, really sexy cow. Why am I asking chat anything? A really sexy cow with 1 bell on its neck, or like around a collar, or is like the belt on the neck with 1 bell around a collar. And you know what? The most dangerous creature of these 3, as I'm reading it right now, is probably the cow. Like, what makes a cow sexy? Does it make eyes at you? Is it squirting the milk of death and destruction on you? Is that what's happened? You know, this is such a good idea. Oh, why is this such a good idea? Oh, I hate you, partially. We could literally have the beholder look like a cow. The beholder looks like a cow, and it's been transformed because of magical doohickeys that are seeping out of whatever the hell this place is. Hey, wizard. But it's a male cow? No. I'm not having it. No, I need this to be a female cow. Listen. Because it's going to shoot its udders as the disintegrate. Like, instead of eye stalks, it's going to use its udders as eye stalks. Okay? There. And it'll just be funny, but also dangerous. And who wants to die? Who wants to die to a sexy beholder cow? You know? Okay, we need 1 more mook. We can't just have 1 sexy dark elf wizard and sexy cow. We need 1 more thing. I don't know why, but I feel like we need 3 things down here that are all more ridiculous than the other. And all are equally, like, all of them are dangerous. But of course, a sexy cow that shoots its udder. This is a sentence I've said out loud. I'm gonna start saying, like, maybe don't show up anymore because these ideas are ridiculous. I love them, and I'm not strong enough to say no. As a person, I'm not strong enough. Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, I will write this down. But the dark elf wizard will say this. It is utterly terrifying. Oh my lord. This is where the campaign that's been, like, relatively serious in theme and content takes just a quick Benny Hill turnaround. Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. One more thing. What else does the Beholder Cow and the Sexy Dark Elf Wizard have? So we need to give this a name. It used to be called... I use this name a lot. I think that's the name I gave it early in the game. Xelvarius the Beholder, aka Bessie. This sexy dark elf wizard. Oh my gosh. You know what? We're gonna call them Tenebris. And Tenebris, just like the original Tenebris that is in chat, will constantly have like a dark wind blowing in their cloak, and their hair is constantly. And every time they look and talk to the players, there's like a somewhere in the distance a high noise, and perhaps even a. Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. So we'll have a little bit of a Western theme going on here. Tenebris, dark, Edgison. Okay, McEdgson. It's a very drow name, by the way. All right, this is a very common drow name. The family of the McEdgsons. Yeah. Lolth has blessed them greatly. Okay, I need one more NPC to throw my players that will be like. What else does a sexy cow have? So this is a beholder stat block that I need to bossify. So give it layer actions. I think I can probably look. Is it Mordekainen's that has like a huge section on beholders? I'll have to recheck that. Layer actions, legendary actions, add hit points and armor class. Oops, and armor class. I'll need to have a decent stat block for this for tonight. What's one more thing? All right, we've got our beholder that looks like a sexy cow. Thanks, chat. Nice. Xelvarius, aka Bessie, who uses, instead of eye stalks now, it's utters to cast its spells. Yep. Good. Wonderful. There is a 0% chance my players run away from this. And then the sexy drow wizard named Tenebris Dark Edgesun. This is so serious. I love it. So Tenebris is going to be the edgelord, the ultimate edgelord wizard. I need some kind of tanky type thing. A tanky type. Tanky McTankface? Like, is that what we're up to now? And Tanky McTankface is going to be based on like a fire giant stat block. I need something that's just beefy and gets in the way. This might be... I mean, this is supposed to be a tough fight. This might be a little bit exceedingly tough. We'll see. And I'll have to adjust it and just run some numbers. The 5 level 15s. Let me look at Kobold Fight Club. By the way, I can't recommend that thing enough. Let me put that... do I have that as a command? If I don't... Hey, Sloth. Yeah, you've arrived at the right time. Like, if this is the first time you guys have come to the stream, boy, have you guys picked the gem of a day to be coming here. And you know what? I don't regret. I regret nothing. So here's the Kobold Kobold Club. And what Kobold Club does is first it says yip yip. Where the hell did I... Hello? Alright, you know what? I'm just going to do one of these. Cool. Here's Kobold Club. So, I've got 5... And it kind of gives you a rough idea of the daily budget that you have. It's still not perfect, but it's fine. Beholder and Lair. And then we have... Oh, Death Tyrant and Lair. Maybe that's the step. We'll see. And then what did we say? A Fire Giant? It's a hard fight. And then we added a Wizard. So, what's a stat block for... Archmage? Yeah, Deadly. That could work. I mean, what it says Deadly, I don't believe it for a second. Action Economy is still very strongly in the position of my players. They also have the ability to... So one of them is a Necromancer, and he has an army of undead that just sort of follows him all the damn time. The other one is a Druid that summons like hordes of creatures all the time. Yeah. Girl Boss Cow Beholder, Sexy Utter Wizard. That's a lot to process. Yeah, it is. It is. Nice. I think we're in the right space. I think we're there. So what is the Fire Giant name? Important, because they'll ask. They always ask. despite my best efforts. They actually want to know this stuff. So, Fire Giant chat, I guess I've been relying on you to give me some great ideas, question mark. What is a good, I call them Tanky McTank Face. I'm not in love with that. Cindy the Cinderheart Giant. Fought, where were you all my life? So, Cindy, this, not Condi. So, Condi's pretty good too, but Cindy the Cinderheart Giant. You know what this is? Girls Get It Done. I'm tempted to make this trifecta all women, or all females, and the girls get it done. That's their war cry as they go to fight, and that's what they're gonna say. So Tenebris is Tenebrisia. Dark and okay, Votifax. The girls get it done. That's it. Easy peasy. Girls get it done. On the more serious side, in the Astral Sea, I need to come on, Jesus, I need to come up with ideas of what. So I have an idea of what the Astral Sea looks like, right? It's like this big flowery, colorful mists that float around with the occasional node of Earth that floats about. An actual part of it will look like an actual sea, and that's where Charon, I use Charon, but I've reskinned him, brings the dead across to, their final destination. So if they make their way through the Astral Sea, they have to see an Astral Dreadnought. They won't fight it, but they have to see an Astral Dreadnought. Absolutely have to see one. You don't go to the Astral Sea and not see the Astral Dreadnought, right? Or an Astral Dreadnought. For the record, an Astral Dreadnought, let me Google an image of it. Astral Dreadnought image. They look badass. They look absolutely badass. Copy image. I'm gonna put that in here just so chat knows. Look at this sucker. Look at this guy. Inside its mouth is a demiplane in which it sucks things. I'm gonna end the sentence there. Nice. Awkward pause, and then moving on. Anything it devours or eats gets stuck in its demiplane, a dungeon, le donjon within its stomach. Maybe if they decide to engage with the Astral Dreadnought for whatever reason, don't get their asses shanked, maybe it swallows them and there's something in the Astral Dreadnought dungeon. Possible aside. What could I hide in there? Oh my gosh. Wouldn't that be the most badass hideout for a Death Knight is inside an Astral Dreadnought's mouth? Like, how cool is that narratively to describe them like clawing their way, like trying to fight this thing, making it open its mouth somehow, and then zooming, flying inside, and there is the sort of pseudo-phylactery of this Death Knight that's been haunting the party as a bounty hunter, and there also is the soul of Euphemia. Oh! I think we kind of have to do that, right? That's cool, chat. Or am I the only one nerding out about that idea? That's a great idea. You have an Astral Dreadnought, you gotta have, it's Chekhov's gun. I can't just show an Astral Dreadnought and not have them deal with it and go inside of its thing. Alright, deal, done. Astral Dreadnought, that's what's going on in the Astral Sea. This is going on. This is very much going on. So Death Knight Tristan has his hideout inside the Astral Dreadnought. And the soul of Euphemia is inside. How are you gonna deal with, how are you gonna get inside the Astral Dreadnought? That's cool. I present the situations, I don't give them solutions. This is a situation. You guys deal with it as it is. Love it. Cool. So that's enough prep for tonight. I can't believe we landed on Bessie, Tenebrisia, and Cindy the Cinderheart. Fought the US stock market to open to do whatever you're going to do. I wonder if you troll half as much with that. Do you recommend your investors buy butter churn equipment? Maybe you should. Maybe there's an option there. Is that how you pick your stocks? Does it rhyme? Does it make you feel something? Then buy the stock. Cool. So the actual topic of conversation that I really wanted to get to, and we only have we have about 20 minutes left to do that, was a question that came from a player of mine who's also a DM, who's a wonderfully talented individual. So I like that he asked that question. And what time is my meeting? I have a meeting at 1:15. Okay, so I have literally 20 minutes. So the question he asked was, how do I make my players run from a fight? I want the players to know that this is tough. I want them to know that I've designed this as not necessarily being a winnable encounter. So another way of asking this question, and really what you're trying to ask is, how do I convey how strong this thing is? Because I want to make sure that this is fair. I want my players to make an informed decision about what they're facing, because I don't want to rob them of player agency. Always, I've talked about this in one of the very early videos, streams that we did, where it was just me talking to myself, which is basically still the case today. But still, player agency is paramount in D&D. And that's the difference. The example we had given at the time was, it's a difference between so what is player agency, what is fairness, is giving your players the opportunity to make a decision with meaningful information. Not surprising your players with a save or die situation, right? So that's the difference between a rogue being given a contract. I need you to break into a paranoid artificer's home to steal the blueprints for a weapon, and they go in there, they break through a window, the alarm goes off. Okay, you've been given information. Versus the same player walking down the street of Waterdeep, and suddenly 8 beholders jump out of the windows. 8 beholders jumping out of windows and make a save against 8 disintegration rays. What? That's terrible. I don't like that, right? So there are a number of traditional ways of doing this. So I'm going to present some of them, and if chat has some ideas, I'd love to hear. Typically, you can have them. So first, you can describe what the monster thing is doing. So is the monster, so if they're, I don't know, let's pick a situation. The monster is literally tearing apart what used to be an impregnable fortress of some kind. They're attacking the city walls of some ancient dwarven fortress and literally taking out chunks of its wall. So you can present narratively, without mechanical pieces, the action, the very physical, so describe the damage this thing is doing without using a cutscene. So what we're talking about here specifically is cutscenes. Cutscenes, underline, cutscene. Before you allow the players to roll initiative, get involved in the scene, have it be at a distance, or describe, use the directorial, the director's seat that you have to cheat a little bit, just like a video game does, and give them a cutscene. And in that cutscene, before the players stumble and say, I want to attack, alright, hang on, let me describe what's happening to you, give me 10 seconds, and then you can make an informed decision. The monster is destroying a city, tearing the walls apart. It is burrowing from under the ground and shattering a mountain, or stepping out of a volcano, or is literally eating a Tarrasque, alright? Like, just be as imaginative as you want to describe how strong this thing is without the player involvement. In one fell swoop of its arm, it has destroyed half a garrison of fighters. And, okay, this thing is serious. An NPC confronting the BBG first, shouting to players to run. Yes, so this is a very standard thing. Yes, so have the strongman NPC. So this is a trope that's used across movies, across video games. The mentor, a strongman NPC, or strongwoman, it's just the strong NPC. Oops, I don't need the Astral Dreadnought. Have the strong NPC get rickety wrecked. So again, using a cutscene or not, but usually I like to do that in a cutscene. So again, the big thing here is, let me put cutscene. Get rickety wrecked. So the strong NPC, this is the mentor that's been teaching the fighter some new strategies, some new moves, a wizard that's been an ally for a long time. Maybe it's a high-level cleric of Pelor who shows up and is like, no, I'm going to stand my ground against this fiend. Turn back, fiend! Like Gandalf. Think Gandalf, right? Fly, you fools! or maybe the NPC thinks they're strong enough to face this thing, whatever way, and then in one fell swoop, the NPC just goes no. The monster goes no. The head goes flying. The powerful NPC gets annihilated, and just drive the point home that if the guy that you guys were learning from, think of the hero's journey, if Obi-Wan Kenobi gets wrecked by Darth Vader, then maybe Darth Vader is pretty strong, right? We're not ready to face this guy. So use a cutscene in those ways to do that. Another thing that you can do, so like practical, I'm gonna cheat. I've used this example before, but here I'm gonna describe it first, and then I'll link a YouTube for you guys, a clip for you guys to watch if you want. You can have the players engage with the creature, so the players roll initiative. And so here we have the in combat damage. And here, you can have the moment where the players roll initiative, they get in front of the creature, and the creature does something so catastrophic that it brings either one character down instantly, just knock it out in one hit, and you describe as it being bored and just flicks like its finger. Think One Punch Man, right? Like it just touches you, take X amount of damage, or if the power creature is high enough, maybe it has power word kill. Or it has an AoE that brings all the characters down to like single digits. So this is a little bit... I'm scared of reading that, but I will read it. Yeah, like there's a really slippery pole, and the master pole dancer that teaches all the budding pole dancers to try to dance on this slippery pole and slips off and breaks her back and shows all the budding pole dancers that the P pole is way too S for them to handle, and then they'll have to resolve their daddy issues some other way. Yes, that's an option to describe how rickety wreckiful a stripper pole could be, that even a master stripper, or is this a stripper? No, we called it a pole dancer. Why am I defaulting to stripper? Terrible, I'm sorry. That this master pole dancer can't handle this pole, can't handle this P. Yeah. This is a very good analogy. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to literally copy paste your comment. Oh, so it lives in infamy. Good. So, Kevin, the budding pole master, stumbles on P, which we'll name penis. Kevin stumbles on the penis and breaks his back. Penis being the pole, obviously, right? Great. I'm glad that this is... PG-13. Wonderful. Yeah, Obi-Wan analogy maybe works better, but this is not bad. Don't sell your ideas short. Okay. So, in combat damage, this requires a little bit of forethought, so you should know how many hit points your characters or your players have. And the example I'm going to give here, so do something so catastrophic in terms of hit points. Not catastrophic, we're not castrating them. HP's damage that they need to run, or they feel like they need to run, right? And to that you can add plus, make it seem easy for the boss, and add secondary bosses if needed to just draw the attention, like how difficult this is. So a really good example of this, and I'm gonna run out a bit of time, and are we allowed to watch YouTube clips without getting banned? I don't know how this shit works, guys. I'm still really new to Twitch. But there is the moment that is really good in Critical Role. I'm going to steal from Critical Role here and describe this to you. The idea of when the Chroma Conclave attacks. So this is a scene that Matt sets up really well, and there's no accident in that scene. And he uses all of these elements. So what does Matt do? Let me put the link in chat for anyone who wants to watch it at some point. Is there an actual moment? This. Cool, here. Put that in here, embed video, and I'm going to put it in chat. Matt does this really well. I'm shocked. Did you guys know that the guy who runs like one of the most successful D&D shows on Twitch is good at what he does? Did you guys, that's a shock, right? I think to most of us that's a shock. So the What he does is basically uses all these techniques to get the point across. He has a cutscene where two dragons are entering the city. One literally lands on like the fortress, breaks the fortress, and seemingly kills an ally without the players having to do anything. The alarm bells are going off, so he amps up the tension. The leader of the city gets spooked. The players can start doing things, but there's no immediate danger that they can attack. They're getting ready, and already the tension is ramped up, right? Informed decision. The city's on high alert. The fortress that's like too far for you to deal anything in the distance got blown up. He's introduced the idea that there are two more of these things coming, so more danger. And finally, when he introduces one of the four dragons, they roll initiative, and instantly the dragon does this breath. He doesn't roll damage. He knows exactly how many hit points his players have, and he makes them take 66 points of damage that brings most of them down to single digits. Instantly, they realize the city's in danger. We just got absolutely annihilated, and all the NPCs around us died. There are 3 more coming, at least, and everybody's running. So, what has he presented here? He has presented there's still the players can still make the decision to, okay, well, the city's under attack. There are 4 dragons, possibly more coming. We just got destroyed. We could choose to fight. So this is leading to the next point of the conversation. They could still sit there and decide to fight against in this example. They would get annihilated, but they can choose to fight. So they have an informed decision. This is now an informed decisions on the side of the players. But they choose wisely to run away, and he's giving them avenues. There's a castle they could run to, or they can teleport away. I think they choose to like travel via plants the hell out of here. So he's used all the techniques of a cutscene, the senses of feeling. He's adding feelings. He's actually prescribing feelings to the NPCs around by doing the warning bells, the music that comes in, and he's telling the players how the NPCs around look like. They're scared, they're feeling whatever, terror, and that is very quickly demonstrated. Then he also gives a tiny bit of meta knowledge to one of the players and says, for the fact that these dragons are fighting together is a very bad sign. And she's like, yeah, I know. And then they need to get the hell out of here. If the players still decide to sit there and fight, now, if you're the type of a punishing DM, you're like, well, you fight and you lost and you die. Alternatively, you need to give them an out, because you might have done a bad job, and you can't. I always assume that if the players decide to sit there and fight, it's probably I didn't do a good enough job to describe that they need to run away. In which case, maybe the players don't die and are taken prisoner. So just give yourself that out, where it's non-lethal damage, like they fall unconscious, but the mooks of the big bad guy realize, oh, these are useful people that might have information, that might be useful if we can turn them to work for us. That might, we could torture them for information. We can turn them to our cause. We can use them as ransom. There are options for you not to kill your players there. So have an alternate plan in case they decide to fight. And finally, maybe, and this has happened to me more than once, maybe your players were surprised the living bejesus out of you and actually beat the big bad guy. Be ready to lose. Or not really lose, because I don't like the terms of winning and losing terms, but be ready for your players to succeed. They get one lucky roll. They banish the thing. They do something clever that you did not anticipate. Never assume that you're the smartest player at the table. You're not. Spoiler alert, as a GM, you're still not. There are 5 other players at the table, 4, 3, 6, as many as 7, I guess, if you're a little bit, balls to the wall. It's okay for your players to outsmart you and beat the big bad guy right here and then come up with something else. You're gonna have to figure out to have an alternative. Yes, you could cheat and be like, he escapes in the last second casting Misty Step, or she or they, the bad guy, or they're banished back to the plane of Shrimp, wherever they came from. But be ready for your players to succeed. Don't just assume that you've presented this catastrophic fight. They might just get really lucky, and you didn't think of everything, and the players just win. There was an example that Jordan gave where, like, the black dragon shows up and is flying over the train. His players were, like, on this magic locomotive. I think it might have been Eberron, lightning rail. They're just traveling along this train over a bridge that is over a chasm, and the black dragon now appears and begins to fight. if the players are clever enough to polymorph the dragon or do something and you didn't plan for it, yes, you could be like, he has legendary resistances just to make it interesting and allow yourself and them to have that moment. But you could have also said, you get it. The dragon, who I've been setting up for 5 sessions, gets turned into a goat and collapses through their demise. And the fallover damage makes it so that it's actually dead, or it's very seriously injured. And that's okay. Like, allow your players to have these moments where they will never forget, right? At the end of the day, it's not about you being, aha. It's about creating moments that the players and yourself will never forget. And then they'll always talk about, do you remember that time when I polymorphed the dragon into a goat and it felt to its death? Don't deny them that opportunity, right? Don't make it an adversarial relationship with your players. If they outsmart and outclever you, that is totally great. That is huge success for the players, which as a byproduct is a huge success for you. But just be ready to have a plan to move the story forward if they do that. Cool. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Are there any other strategies, chat? There's 5 of you in here. Technically, there's probably 20 of you, but like 15 of the 20, I'm guessing, are bots. Casino Thangs, Commander Root, Bot Foo's probably a bot with what they're spamming copy pastes all the time. Any other strategies that you think either as a GM or as a player that has been used, or in a video game even, to like introduce this big bad guy? And video games, of course, can be more forgiving, right? That's an option to let them know how the bad guys, yeah, something exciting is happening somewhere else close by. How do you mean? For once, I actually don't follow your logic, and usually I can, but this time I can't. I'm trying to decipher it. But these are the ones I've used. Oh, to make them run? Sure, maybe it's not about the bad guy. Yeah, I want my players to run. Maybe they run to the other thing. Yeah, a Tarrasque has shown up, is eating half of Waterdeep, but down the road is all-you-can-eat king crab legs buffet for 1 silver piece. That is a deal that I cannot pass. Like, okay, the city's falling apart, fine, whatever, who cares? King crab legs for a silver all-you-can-eat buffet. They're about to lose money on this, and I'm not missing out. So I'll put that down here. You can always bring out the buffet, right? Actual valid tip. Something more exciting is happening elsewhere. Actually, you know, while I joke, that's actually a valid thing. You could have a ticking clock, a ticking bomb, that the players would want to stay and fight the guy, but their friend who is about to fall into the volcano and, you know, sort of like set up from the bad guy, well, you could deal with me, but you have exactly 30 seconds before Joe Bob, the king, or your lover, or the future prince of Demacia, let's steal from League of Legends, is about to fall. So that's actually, despite your best efforts, Fought, that was actually a really good tip. The villain has set up a ticking time bomb, and the players have to deal with it. You know, with all the typos I've done. But that is a brilliant suggestion. I know you didn't expect that. So let's call that the crab buffet strategy. I'm gonna dub this the crab buffet. The crab buffet strat. You can always have a crab buffet. Or buffet. But I'm understanding this, it's pronounced buffet. Nice. Fought. Coming through with the pole dancing, the something more exciting is happening elsewhere. Basically this. But let's call it the crab buffet. That's a gem that you have plucked from the gem tree and presented to me. This guy's is a bit of a rough coal, let's say, Fought, but with your help, we've uncovered the gemminess of this piece of coal, and Santa Claus would be proud to serve that coal to a good or bad boy. You know, this stream is richer for your presence. I appreciate that. And Fought, You know, I've tried doing this before once, and it's always chaos, and it's always a bad idea. But today's the day. Sit tight. Hang on to your butt. Hang on to your butt. Is this a thing here? Can I do this? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do I do this? Add new. Where is he? Fought. Yes. Boom. Now, if you refresh or say something, I don't know if you need to refresh actually. I didn't even know I had those. Type something. Let's see if it actually worked. You're always hanging on to it. Oh, it doesn't show up on my stream for whatever reason. But fought. You should now have VIP privileges. And if they don't show up yet, they will show up in time. Well, you know what? You don't think you're a VIP? I think you're a VIP. Deep in my heart, you're a VIP. You know what I mean? So you might disagree, but you are a VIP. Even if it doesn't show up in here. Oh, it's actually not showing up. Why? I want fought. Who's in World War II to be a VIP. Save. If I refresh, is he here now? Okay, cool. Actually, you just became a mod instead. I don't know. Don't unmod yourself. Keep it, because you have such good ideas. And if Slothino gets out of hand, which he is wont to do, you had unmodded yourself once. I had modded you, and you're like, I don't want it, and then you unmodded yourself, but now you're a mod again. Kind of less on the player agency, but also could have a con whiz just to see if the character quakes in their boots. Yeah, I mean, mechanically, we could certainly add, like, in combat, we can have... I mean, nothing says you can have mechanical components. So a player can do... So here, and that's a really good point, Sloth, and now you won't get banned, okay? That's really cool. So there is a wisdom saving throw. Or wisdom saving throw could be a thing for the frightened condition. There could be a lore check, like what do I know about these creatures, like an insight, history, intelligence, or if you want, you could literally tell the player if they're, like for example, a ranger that is specialized in dragons, in this case from the example of a critical role that I've provided, the DM just provides the information. It says, for this to be happening, with this type of creature to be showing up, this is very bad news. You guys are in a hot, sticky wicket. Can wickets be hot, sticky? Hot, sticky wicket. Provide lore information to the player. So, like, if a Baylor shows up and you have a cleric in your party, you can do a religion check, or if you want them to know the information, like based on the stuff that you've studied in the monastery, the convent, the temple, the archdiocese, the lyceum, wherever the hell you got this information, you know that this is a Baylor. This is one of the highest ordered demons that exists. It is utterly powerful. Angels are specifically sent to deal with this thing, or demigods are sent to deal with this, and even then, some of them have rained terror on the prime material plane for hundreds of years. You're not equipped to deal with this. You could literally say that out loud, and that's probably okay. I want to keep going, but I can't. I have a meeting literally in 1 minute that I'm going to be running late to. If you haven't followed the channel, feel free to follow the channel for more amazing content such as the Crab Buffet. In case you ever thought that you knew everything about D&D, you didn't know about the Crab Buffet. Now you know about the Crab Buffet. Hell, I didn't even know about the Crab Buffet before I started the stream. So, live stream my meeting? Yeah. Yeah, guys, we need to know how the developers are going to be doing their work today and the next schedule of deployments. I'll be back tonight around 10:15 p.m. It's a variety day, so either I have enough gold to save for a Magic the Gathering draft, because I'm done wasting gems on it. I don't think there's enough time for me to hit Mythic or even Platinum, honestly. I'm so... Kaldheim has been just nothing but a disaster for me, but we could try. Might be time for some Among Us. If people are online, Lathino, Fought, if you guys are around, we can get 10 people. You know, I don't think we're doing Among Us again this Saturday or Sunday with Scotty, so by all means, hang out and we can do that. Otherwise, I might do some geoguessing till really late again. The possibility of streaming some F-tier Valorant exists, but probably not. In how many? Well, it's late for you, I think, but usually I start around in 8 hours, 8.5 hours. Yeah, yeah, that's late for you. I think you're in. Are you in Germany, the Netherlands, something like that? I can never remember. Yeah, that's late. You know what we could do is repurpose one of these lunchtime D&D sessions, maybe the Friday one. I could try to schedule it. Join the Discord. We can talk in Discord if you're not there. And maybe this coming Friday, at like noon, we could do an Among Us stream. And that would be noon is like 7 p.m. So maybe we can try to schedule one with the community and get an Among Us stream where we play with you guys and have a good time. So I'll try to schedule that, but you know, join the Discord for that just so I can talk to you guys. It'll be easier. I'm plugging my own stuff. I have to run. The meeting starting. Thanks you guys for coming and hanging out. Fought. I don't know how to thank you. Sloth, thank you for your actual intentions. Swirly that was here earlier and everyone else. I wish you a really good rest of the day. I'll see you later tonight for a variety stream and maybe a recap of what happened in the session. Okay. Take care, everyone. See you then. Bye-bye.